Welcome back to ABCGH Spoilers and News. If you're looking for the latest General Hospital spoilers, deep story analysis, and honest opinions you won't hear anywhere else, you're in the right place. Today's story brings unexpected twists, emotional fallout, and decisions that could change everything in Port Charles. Let's break it all down and talk about what it really means moving forward. Willow's gaze flitted across the room, desperately searching for reassurance, but the faces appeared blurred and unfocused, mirroring the chaos within her mind. It was as if the walls themselves were closing in, suffocating her with the enormity of the moment. She could almost hear the piercing clarity of the gavel striking down, a final call that would either liberate or condemn her. Her memories tangled together like a frayed thread, each decision she had ever made spiraling into the chaos of her present. What if they can tell? She mused, glancing sideways at the foreman, whose expression was unreadable, a mask that offered no hint of the judgment to come. As she straightened her back, steeling herself against the growing tide of panic, she felt a flutter of hope at the back of her mind. Perhaps she could still sway them, find some sliver of understanding that lay buried beneath the layers of her transgressions. Silent prayers mingled with desperate wishes, echoing the flicker of doubt that threatened to extinguish her resolve. Would her story, once convoluted and shrouded in lies, now reveal a glimmer of truth that could resonate with them? Each second felt interminable, yet the reality of her situation bore down with an insistent urgency. The moment demanded her response. Finally, she prepared herself to speak her truth, to unveil the scars that shaped her journey. If only they knew the whole me, she thought, envisioning a world where vulnerability was met with empathy rather than contempt. With every ounce of courage she summoned, Willow took a deep breath and began to share her story, more determined than ever to bridge the gap that existed between her and the jury's perception. "Thank you for your patience," she began, her voice steady, yet laced with the tremors of uncertainty. Every eye in the courtroom seemed to absorb her words, and she felt a palpable weight resting upon her shoulders. "I stand before you not just as someone accused, but as a person shaped by choices that led to this moment." As she spoke, Willow sought to invoke the empathy she had once craved, hoping to paint a picture of her struggle instead of the shadows cast by her missteps. "I understand that my actions have left scars, on me, on others, but they were not devoid of context." Each word felt like a brushstroke, attempting to create clarity where confusion had reigned. The contours of her past unfolded in her mind, the memories both haunting and informative, guiding her narrative as she dared to reveal the truth behind her decisions. "I did not choose pain. I chose survival, hoping it would lead to something greater. I faced challenges that forced my hand, yet I never considered the ripple effect of my choices," Willow continued, letting passion spur her forward. Her voice grew stronger, tempered by the weight of honesty, an honesty that resonated with her deepest fears. "Each mistake was a step in a labyrinth that I found hard to escape, and in the isolation, I crafted my own prison. Yes, I sought to protect myself, but at what cost?" The courtroom hung on her every word, and she could feel the shift. Shadows of judgment wrestled with the beginnings of understanding. As she paused to gather her thoughts, she glanced at Alexis, whose expression remained inscrutable, yet silently urged her on. "I was not born to hurt. I simply existed in a world that made me question who I could trust." Each revelation peeled back layers of her facade, exposing the raw truth that lay beneath. Willow sensed the tide turning, the collective breath of the jury catching in anticipation of her next words. It was not merely about her innocence, it was about unraveling the tangled web of her life, an invitation into the heart of her struggle. "I am here today because I wish to take responsibility," she declared, sincerity radiating in her tone. "Yet I ask you to see the person behind the actions, someone who desperately longed for connection, even amidst her mistakes. Today marks not just a trial, but a reckoning that I have long evaded," Willow continued, her conviction growing stronger as she faced the jury. "I have walked this path alone, weaving through shadows and regrets, desperate for understanding." The silence that enveloped the courtroom was thick with emotion, and she could feel eyes softening, reactions shifting as her vulnerability poured forth. "I implore you to recognize that my journey is marked not only by my failings, but also by lessons learned in the depths of pain." Each word was laden with the weight of her experiences, an unsteady bridge built to connect her past to the present. She could see the jurors leaning forward, a glimmer of empathy igniting amidst their stern expressions, urging her to keep going. "This is my chance to rise from the ruins," she said, determination illuminating her face. "Not merely to prove my innocence, but to reclaim my narrative. Would that be enough to sway their hearts toward understanding? Today, I stand before you, not just as an accused, but as a person striving for redemption, ready to confront my past and embrace the challenges that lie ahead." Each word hung in the air, a solemn promise that resonated with her yearning for acceptance, as hopeful glances met her gaze. That's all for today's General Hospital Breakdown. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to ABC GH Spoilers and News, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Let us know what you think. Do you agree with this outcome, or do you see things playing out differently? Drop your predictions in the comments, and thanks for watching.